Bummer video today, y'all. Bummer video. Uh, this story was also covered by the BBC, but I'm going to read this version off the Telegraph because it includes the poem in its entirety. But we have here, poem of a schoolgirl who killed herself after being targeted by trolls. The mother of a 14-year-old who took her own life after being snubbed by schoolmates and targeted on the web has released an anguished poem she wrote before her death. And so this is Izzy Dix, 14, penned the poem titled I Give Up. A schoolgirl who killed herself after being bullied online and by her peers wrote a poem telling of her anguish months before her death. Izzy Dix, 14, penned the poem titled I Give Up after being snubbed by her friends at a local music festival in July. This week, her mother, Gabby, released the verse to the public in the hope that it might make other bullies think about the effects of their actions and prevent such tragedies in the future. Mrs. Dix, who lives in Brixham, Devon, said her daughter had also been targeted by bullies through social media before taking her own life this September. And this article is from 2013, October. So we are talking about things that happened 12 years ago. Wow. The poem, which Izzy wrote after returning from the festival in floods of tears, reads, I try to edge my way back into the circle of giggles and talking. They push me away. They begin to tell me that nobody wants me there. They tell me to leave and that I am not wanted. Another piece of me chiseled away by their cruel remarks and perceptions. I give up. The verse reduced many mourners to tears when it was read out at the teenager's funeral. Izzy's mother said of the decision to make the poem public, I know this may be uncomfortable for people to read, but this is what was going on in my daughter's life before she died. In her own words, this is how she was feeling. I want young people all around the world to think about the potential impact of their behavior before they act. We all need to be motivated by love and kindness, not nastiness and hate. Mrs. Dix singled out the controversial website Ask.fm, which allows anonymous users to post comments on others' profiles, for criticism after her daughter was targeted there and said it should be shut down. The Latvian-based website has already been linked to a string of teenage suicides. Izzy's father, Eugene Conway, has launched an online petition calling for the government to ban the social network. So far, it has attracted more than 8,000 signatures. Police are not treating Izzy's death as suspicious, and an inquest will be held at a later date. And then we have Izzy's poem, I Give Up. I arrive, happy and fresh, ready and excited, to celebrate the goodness. I am eager and keen to have a good time. As I smile from the bubbles of anticipation whizzing around my stomach, I begin to see the crowd. I see more people. Many are happy and joyful. They're there like me, to celebrate. I smile at them and say hello to the many faces I see. They look shocked and surprised to see me. I question their judgmental glares as I wonder, what have I done wrong? I see their drinks swilling in their fingers as their backs begin to face me. I try to edge my way back into the circle of giggles and talking. They push me away. I stand still, my eyes glazed and absent. Suddenly they call me over. I think, yes, they've noticed me. But then it begins. They start to ask questions as to why I am there. They begin to tell me that nobody wants me there. They tell me to leave and that I am not wanted, not there, not anywhere. My heart, my head, my body, numb. I feel pricks of stinging begin to pinch my eyes as cheeks begin to burn. Don't let them see you. Don't show them that you're weakened by their remarks. Stay strong, I think, but it's too late. My palms clammy, my cheeks streaming, my neck sweating. I walk away from the chanting and laughing, my vision spinning, my heart beginning to break. I look down and walk, my eyes drowning in a sea of emotion. Another piece of me chiseled away by their cruel remarks and perceptions. I give up. And what destroys me about this is I'm going to tell you, please don't give up. I know how much it hurts. I really do. I don't. I really don't. I only know how much pain I've faced, and it's too much for any fucking person. And I know there are people out there facing worse and still somehow finding some way to keep going, and sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes maybe it's right to give up. What else can you do when everyone in your life turns their back on you? When there is no way out? What else can you do? So, I don't want to spend too much time talking about this. I don't want to turn it into my own thing. I think it speaks for itself. I am grateful to the mother for making this public. I, of course, wonder what home life was like. I mean, it seems like she couldn't talk to anybody. But I don't... Yeah, I can't talk too much about that right now. Not on this. I want to tell any watchers, viewers, just in case it helps at all. You know. You're really not alone? It sucks because they can hear the lies. We are alone. No one else can be you. No one else can feel what you are feeling. Whether they felt something similar before, great. They don't know what you are going through. Don't let anyone tell you what your life is like. Only you know. All we can do is tell them. And if they don't listen, if they don't believe honesty, if they don't believe the truth, we can't do anything about that. They're dangerous, though, if they're lying. I've got a follow-up article from December of that same year. Izzy Dix family blames cyberbullying for her death. A 14-year-old girl hanged herself after an argument with her mother, an inquest has heard. Izzy Dix was found dead in Brixham, Devon on 17 September. Her family and friends blamed cyberbullying and began a campaign against it. But the inquest at Torquay Coroner's office heard there was no evidence of cyberbullying. Coroner Ian Arrow recorded a verdict of suicide and said Izzy had significant personal and emotional turmoil. Police investigated the teenager's death after claims she was bullied on a social media website. Detective Constable Diane Brugge from Torbay's Child Protection Unit told the inquest that there was no suicide note, although a diary had mentioned 3 suicide attempts. She said Izzy's internet use, telephone, and computers were checked, but nothing that suggested any cyberbullying was found. But Annie Hargraves of the Izzy Dix Memorial Campaign said the family had evidence of Izzy being bullied, which she referred to as internet trolling and the worst form of abuse. She said the campaign group firmly believed bullying was a major factor in Izzy's death. We believe the processes that took place today and the conclusions reached are fundamentally flawed, she added. A statement read at the inquest from Izzy's mother, Gabby, said her daughter had been bullied from the moment she started Brixham College. She said she got picked on at school for being bright and wearing a skirt that was longer than the other girls. The inquest heard that on the night Izzy died, she had been upset because a girl had made her life hell at school that day and the supply teacher had not noticed. Izzy and her mother had also argued later that night. When Izzy said she was lonely and no one cared about her, her mother said she had to find her own solutions and that lots of people loved her. The teenager was later found hanged in her bedroom by her mother. You are responsible for your children! It is not up to her to find her own way, you bitch! You're lucky she didn't kill you! She should have! Obviously, I'm making a lot of assumptions here. I'm assuming she's like my mother. She kind of sounds like it. I could be wrong. Sorry, didn't expect to yell. Stop killing your goddamn kids and listen to them! Brixham College is yet to respond to what was heard at the inquest. Yeah, what can you say other than, oops, we killed her? Oops! Now we're lying about it! Oops! And we have another one from September 2015, so we're 2 years on. Izzy Dix's mom describes living nightmare 2 years after suicide. Gabby says the beach was one of Izzy's favorite places to go. I just wouldn't want anyone else to feel like this, says Gabby Dix. It's a living nightmare. 2 years ago, her only daughter, 14-year-old Izzy, took her own life. I didn't even consider that suicide would be on her radar or something that she would be pushed to, Gabby says. I've spoken to a lot of other parents that have lost children and they say the very same thing. You don't think it's going to happen to you until it happens. Here's the thing she was telling you, and you told her, you'll figure it out. You're a smart kid. You've got this. You would not let her express honestly how bad things were. You told her it's not that bad. You lied, and she died. Just gonna wipe some spit off my monitor here. And this is a typo. According to the charity Papyrus, more than 1,600 people in the UK aged below 35 take their own lives each year. Papyrus was the typo. I don't actually know about the numbers. A total of 6,233 suicides were registered with the Office for National Statistics (ONS) in 2013. The figures relate to people aged 15 and over. No matter who's around me supporting me, it's a very lonely existence because I don't think that, unless you've experienced such a huge loss, says Gabby, trailing off. I try not to be a burden on people. I try to cope with the different levels of grief as well as I can, really. Gabby, who lived with Izzy and Devin, said she spent the first year after her daughter's death in a fog, and that as time has gone on, you know it's happened, but it still doesn't feel real. At the inquest into Izzy's death, the coroner was told her diary showed that she had been struggling with her emotions and had previously thought about suicide. The inquest also heard that she had had a row with Gabby the night that she had took her life and that there was no evidence Izzy had been bullied online. Gabby disputes these claims and says that not getting a form of truth has hindered her grieving process. I don't think I'm able to rest until the truth has been told about my daughter, she says. Gabby says she tries to hold on to the knowledge she did her best for Izzy. What I've learned is with any suicide or any death in anybody's life, especially the sudden death of a child, you feel a certain amount of guilt which you soul search for anyway, regardless of the circumstances, she says. I know I fought for my daughter and tried the very best that I could with the knowledge I had. Well, you don't know that. You're making an assumption. You're probably wrong. Like many teenagers, Izzy did struggle with negative emotions and mood swings, says Gabby. I think in my private moments, I think that's what is the most painful, the struggle that she had prior to her death, she says. She says that bullying, both on the internet and social media, as well as offline, had an impact on how Izzy felt about herself. She was an extremely confident girl, but it was the isolation and the continuing isolation from friendship groups and social situations that I think chipped away at her, she adds. Naomi Gilchrist is a volunteer with the Samaritans. The 22-year-old has herself lost friends to suicide. Her experiences led her to work with the charity's DEAL, Developing Emotional Awareness and Listening program, helping young people to get the skills needed to manage life's challenges. She says talking honestly and responsibly about suicide can hopefully prevent more people from ending their own lives. It is a bit of a taboo thing because I think when a person is going through mental distress, they do feel so isolated, she tells Newsbeat. It is really hard for the family and friends left behind to understand because often they say, why didn't they just talk to me? And you think, why didn't I see this coming? Gabby believes that suicide shouldn't remain a taboo. If it's talked about, then young people are able to express how they feel, therefore that will have a knock-on effect of saving lives, she says. Yes, I like that. Good call. Knowing that she can't ever get Izzy back, she says the next step is to stop anyone else from going through what she has been through. I died the day Izzy died, says Gabby. So I continuously have to remind myself to keep going for Izzy and her legacy and her memory. Yeah, I mean, 2 years on, it sounds like she's starting to kind of get it. I don't think she fully understands how badly she specifically fucked up. She's still pretending she did everything she could. Obviously you didn't. Sorry. Am I being too harsh on this woman? I don't know. If she's anything like my mother, no, I'm not being harsh enough. Okay, this is another one from the BBC. Around the same time, 2 years after her death, family and friends mark 2 years since Izzy Dix took her own life. We have this nice picture here. Love for Izzy Dix. Lots of hearts. Izzy was affected by many things that impact on teenagers around the UK, like online bullying and struggling with difficult emotions. Her friends and family gathered together on Thursday to mark the anniversary of Izzy's death and to celebrate her life. Here, Izzy's friend Nancy prepares for the memorial. Wow. 2 years ago, we miss you. All the time. Love your family. Today marks the 2-year anniversary of the day my dear friend took her own life. Although 730 days have passed, not a day goes by where we do not think and talk about Izzy. It seems that as time passes, the absence of Izzy becomes more prominent and her physical presence is replaced with nostalgia. Today marks the 2-year anniversary of the day I lost my childhood friend and started fighting for justice. Justice to break talking about suicide out of this taboo and help others who may feel they want to give up. Losing Izzy brought me a handful of emotions, from anger to empathy. And yes, there will be days where I'll cry and there will be days where I don't want to face reality. But mostly there will be days where I laugh, reminiscing through the precious memories I share with Izzy. I love to travel. I love caring for others. I love solving math problems. Love for Izzy Dix. Today marks the 2-year anniversary where Izzy's family, friends, and I will gather together and talk about the special times. We'll light candles and eat her favorite food. Maybe we'll sit on a beach, look out to the sea, and listen to her favorite songs. Whatever today brings, we'll be sure to have Izzy on our minds and hearts and the stories about her that we cherish on the tip of our tongues. She'll be forever on our minds. Izzy left and Nancy right with Nancy's mom, who is friends with Izzy's mom. And so later, after the ceremony, the reflecting, I guess. Today brought creativity and light to what could have been a dark and gloomy day. We choose to focus on the positive side of lovely Izzy's life, how she explored the world and saw sights most teenagers only dream of. As we looked through the photos of Iz, we put our creative minds on, just like Izzy would have done. Day 730 without Izzy and emotions are running high. Love for Izzy Dix. I don't want to say too much more than I already have. Obviously, I don't actually know these people. I am projecting a lot of my own experiences in my life onto their situation based on these limited glimpses through the news. Why are people killing themselves? Why is it happening like a surprise every time, even though these problems are so common that everybody deals with them? We're not showing strength when we pretend that these things don't affect us. We're normalizing abuse. We need to talk about suicide. We need to talk about death. We need to talk about the shitty state of everyone's lives. We're not happy. Things aren't right. They haven't been for a long fucking time. You have to be dangerously stupid to believe things are good right now. Too many people are having children without a second fucking thought. Too many parents just think they're entitled to whatever. They think, oh, well, you know, it's natural. We'll just do it now. We'll figure it out later. Maybe the whole world is telling them, yeah, go ahead. It's fine. It's not. Think about it. But eventually you got to do something. Our lives are on the line. Doing nothing is a choice. Usually not the right one. You stand back. Everyone dies, including you. You could at least die fighting for people like this. Please. It will never get better until we take a fucking stand. No lies. Not a single goddamn lie. Okay? Try it. No excuses. See how far you get. Lies threaten everybody, and only the truth can save us. If you don't get it by now, you are part of the problem. Thank you for watching. Do better. Goodbye.